Barakallahu feekum wa jazakumullahu khayra. We're going to continue in the tafsir of Surat Yusuf alayhi salatu wassalam. We've reached the 19th ayah, where the author said, starting with the word of Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وجاءت سيارة فأرسلوا واردهم فأدلى دلوه. Then came a caravan of travelers from Midian to Egypt. You know the town of Midian? Midian, that's the town that Allah punished those people. Those were the people of Shu'aib. And Midian is said to be named after one of the sons of Abraham, whose name is Midian. وَجَاءَتْ سَيَّارَةٌ. Then came a caravan. So the sayyara is the caravan. If you didn't know, that's the word they use for a car in Arabic. You say, عندي سيارة. I have a sayyara. I have a car. فَأَرْسَلُوا وَارِدَهُمْ فَأَدْلَى دَلْوَهُ. They sent their water scooper, and he lowered his pail, yani his bucket. So when he pulled them out, قال يا بشرى هذا غلام. He said, "Oh, good news! Come to me, oh fortune!" And he found a human. This is a lad. وَأَسَرُّوهُ بِضَاعَةً. And they concealed him from the other travelers as merchandise. Yani they didn't want to split the profits. وَاللَّهُ عَلِيمٌ بِمَا يَعْمَلُونَ. And Allah is knowledgeable of what they do. وَشَرَوْهُ بِثَمَنٍ بَخْسٍ دَرَاهِمَ مَعْدُودَةٍ. And they exchanged him for a cheap price, a few counted dirhams. Yani, the brothers of Yusuf were keeping their eyes on this well to see if someone's going to come and take Yusuf away. So when these ones took Yusuf, they went after them. So they told those people, "This one is our runaway slave." وَشَرَوْهُ بِثَمَنٍ بَخْسٍ دَرَاهِمَ مَعْدُودَةٍ. And they exchanged him for a cheap price. Who's they? So it could be that they refers to the brothers, or it could be that they, yani, sharawhu, hum, men whom they, who are they? Could be that they are the brothers of Yusuf, or it could be that they are the people of the caravan. So if they are the brothers of Yusuf, then they sold him. And if they are the people of the caravan, then they bought him. So that's why it says exchanged here. So that there can be a neutral word for either way. بِثَمَنٍ بَخْسٍ دَرَاهِمَ مَعْدُودَةٍ. They exchanged him for a cheap price, a trifling price. If this shira, which is translated as exchange here, if it is selling, then they are his brothers and they sold Yusuf for a trifling price. Like someone who's disinterested in what he is selling. And if this is buying, then they are the travelers, the people of the caravan. Then it means they bought him for a trifling price. Why? Because they were not interested in buying a runaway. وَكَانُوا فِيهِ مِنَ الزَّاهِدِينَ. And they were, concerning him, very disinterested. Yani, this is an expression of the cheap price that they exchanged for him. And what's this here? This is what we call these days human trafficking. So a Zahid is a person disinterested in the world, an aesthetic. So the Zahids here could be the brothers or they could be the travelers. وقال الذي اشتراه من مصر لامرأته أكرمي مثواه. And Potiphar, the Aziz, Al-Aziz, that's his title. He's an Egyptian official. His name is Potiphar. Qitl Fear. Potiphar's English. The one from Egypt who purchased him. And he was asexual. Yani, he was not interested in women. It's like he has no desire. He purchased Yusuf, as it was said, for his weight in silver, silk, and gold. Yani, when they got to Egypt and they put him up for sale, all the people started bidding on him. So, وقال الذي اشتراه من مصر لامرأته أكرمي مثواه. And Potiphar, Al-Aziz. Al-Aziz is his title. He's an Egyptian official. He purchased Yusuf. Yani, when the travelers got to Egypt, they put him up for sale, and the people started bidding on him like an auction. So Potiphar was the one who purchased him. It was said for his weight in silver, silk, and musk. Which, what do you call that type of selling? That's called, as people call it, bartering. Bartering. Yani, bartering is like just exchanging goods for goods. Maybe you have fish. One side has fish, the other side has perfume, like this, instead of cash in particular. So he purchased him, and he was asexual. This means he lacks desire. Doesn't mean he's gay. It means he lacks desire. Although he was married, but he didn't used to touch his wife. So he took Yusuf. He took him home. He said, Limra'atihi. He said to his wife, and her name was Zalikha, and some people say her name is Zulaykha, Zalikha or Zulaykha. He said to her, Akrimi mathwa. Give him comfortable living quarters. عسى أن ينفعنا أو عسى أن ينفعنا أو نتخذه ولدا. Perhaps he will benefit us, or we can take him as a child. So that's what he said to his wife. وَكَذَلِكَ مَكَّنَّا لِيُوسُفَ فِي الْأَرْضِ. Thus, like we saved Joseph from being killed, and like we saved him from the well, we made Potiphar fond of him, and thereby we empowered Joseph in the land. Yani, this was the way. This was the door by which Joseph would come to power in Egypt. This cue here is for Al-Qurtubi. So, this tafsir that we are reading, mostly, as you know, most of it is from An-Nasafi and Al-Jalalain, and it also takes from Al-Tabari, and it also takes from Al-Qurtubi. So Q is Qurtubi. وَكَذَلِكَ مَكَّنَّا لِيُوسُفَ فِي الْأَرْضِ. Thus, like that, we empowered Joseph in the land. Yani, this was the way that he would become in the future in command of Egypt. وَلِنُعَلِّمَهُ مِن تَأْوِيلِ الْأَحَادِيثِ وَلِنُعَلِّمَهُ مِن تَأْوِيلِ الْأَحَادِيثِ. And also so that we would teach him the interpretation of dreams. وَاللَّهُ غَالِبٌ عَلَى أَمْرِهِ. And Allah is dominant over his matter. Nothing disables him. Yani, this means Allah does whatever he wills. Allah Ta'ala is the one who has control over all the creations. He is the manager of everything. وَلَكِنَّ أَكْثَرَ النَّاسِ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. However, the blasphemers, most of the people do not know. However, most of the people do not know. Who are most of the people? Most of the people are kuffar. Not most of the people are Muslims. Most of the people, most of the humans, most of the people are not Muslims. And Allah tells us in the Quran the case of most of the people. Here's one of those verses. وَلَكِنَّ أَكْثَرَ النَّاسِ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. Most of the people do not know. And also, most of the people don't like the truth. That's another ayah. لِلْحَقِّ كَارِهُونَ. Those are kuffar. And if you were to obey most of the people, they would misguide you. Those are the kuffar. Not the Ash'aris. Most of the people are not the Muslims. But the Ash'aris are most of the Muslims. So, whenever you talk about the Ash'aris being the majority of the nation, a Wahhabi is going to bring you ayat like this. Most of the people, you're going to say the Ash'aris are they are the majority. So Wahhabi is going to tell you, وَلَكِنَّ أَكْثَرَ النَّاسِ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. Most of the people don't know. I'm going to tell him that's most of the people, most of the humans, not most of the Muslims. Most of the humans are not Muslims. وَلَمَّا بَلَغَ أَشُدَّهُ آتَيْنَاهُ حُكْمًا وَعِلْمًا. So they gave Yusuf a nice living. And they got him a good education. And they raised him lovingly. وَلَمَّا بَلَغَ أَشُدَّهُ آتَيْنَاهُ حُكْمًا وَعِلْمًا. And when he reached his prime, we gave him prophethood and knowledge. When he reached his prime, yani, when he blossomed into a beautiful young man, could have been 18 or another age. وَكَذَلِكَ نَجْزِي الْمُحْسِنِينَ. And as such do we compensate the good doers. وراودته التي هو في بيتها عن نفسه. And she, in whose house he was, wanted him despite himself. She attempted to seduce him despite himself. وغلقت الأبواب وقالت هيت لك. And she locked all of the doors. Yani, she got done up. She beautified herself. And she put on her, yani, what a woman might wear for her husband, for example. And then she went into him where he was, and she locked all the doors. وَقَالَتْ هَيْتَ لَكَ. And she said, come, this is for you. قَالَ مَعَاذَ اللَّهِ. He said, أعوذ بالله. I seek refuge with Allah from that. And he was not interested. He said to her, Ma'ad Allah. The meaning of Ma'ad Allah is A'udhu Billah, but it's in a different form. The form that it's in is similar to when we say Subhanallah. Structurally, it's similar to saying Subhanallah. He's saying Ma'ad Allah. And you can say that. If you like, say like Prophet Yusuf said. You see something or hear something, you say, Ma'ad Allah. Innahu Rabbi ahsana mathway. Certainly, your husband is my Lord. That's a literal translation there. Lord here meaning master. And here means appears to be, because he was not really a slave. People thought that Yusuf was a slave, but he was not a slave. He was trafficked. So he was really a freeman. So he said to her, Innahu Rabbi, your husband is my master. Ahsana mathwai. He was generous in my living accommodations. He's saying, I cannot betray him in this way by being with his wife. Innahu la yuflihu dhalimun. Surely, unsuccessful are the unjust adulterers. They will be losers. Okay. And there's another interpretation for this line, for this ayah. Sorry. وَلَقَدْ هَمَّتْ بِهِ. We swear, she yearned for him. She wanted him. She had a hem for him. It means she wanted him. أَرَادَتْهُ. وَهَمَّ بِهَا لَوْلَا أَن رَّأَىٰ بُرْهَانَ رَبِّهِ. And he would have yearned for her had it not been that he saw the evidence of his Lord. So, if you just take the ayah by word by word value, you would say, وَلَقَدْ. وَلَقَدْ is a swear here. The wow is for swearing. Like when you say, Wallahi, it's the same wow. Wow al-qasam. So there's a swear. Wallahi, by God. لَقَدْ هَمَّتْ بِهِ. She yearned for him. She wanted him. And she was a beautiful woman. She was a beautiful young woman whose husband never touched her. وَهَمَّ بِهَا لَوْلَا أَن رَّأَىٰ بُرْهَانَ رَبِّهِ. And he would have yearned for her had it not been that he saw the evidence of his Lord. So someone might say it means she wanted him and he wanted her. But he did not want her. What's the proof that he did not want her? لولا أن رأى برهان ربه. Had it not been that he saw the evidence of his Lord. That means, had it not been that Allah gave him revelation and made him an impeccable prophet. Had it not been that he got the revelation and became an impeccable prophet, he would have been then a normal man, and then he would have been smitten with desire and he would have wanted her too. But since he was an impeccable prophet, then he had no such desires. That's the better way to explain this ayah. And another way, which is an acceptable way, it is an acceptable way, is to explain it as وَهَمَّ بِهَا. So, وَلَقَدْ هَمَّتْ بِهِ. She wanted him, but she wanted him for something, which was to have an affair with him. وَهَمَّ بِهَا. And another way to explain this is that, and he wanted her for something. He wanted something with her. Not the same thing though. She wanted him and he wanted her. Yani, she wanted something with him and he wanted something with her. But it's not the same thing. What did he want? He wanted to push her away. She wanted to engage him and to embrace him and to bring him close, and he wanted to push her away. لولا أن رأى برهان ربه. Had it not been that he saw the evidence of his Lord. The evidence of his Lord, which was that Allah made him know that if he pushes her, she will have him killed. So he did not. كذلك لنصرف عنه السوء والفحشاء. We showed him the evidence like that so that we would divert from him the villainy and the indecencies. إِنَّهُ مِنْ عِبَادِنَا الْمُخْلَصِينَ. Surely he is among our dedicated slaves. Our dedicated slaves, that's with the fatha on the lam. Al-Mukhlasin. If there's a kasra on the lam, yani, you can recite it that way. Al-Mukhlisin. Then it means he is amongst our sincere slaves. And Allah referring to Yusuf as min ibadina al-mukhlasin. This statement itself clears Yusuf, clears him. So some people, they don't understand the tafsir of this surah because they think this means وَلَقَدْ هَمَّتْ بِهِ. According to them, she wanted him. وَهَمَّ بِهَا. And he wanted her too. And they say he sat from her or with her like a man sits with his wife, meaning right before being intimate. And some of them say he undid his pants or unbuckled his belt or the likes of that, untied the string or something like that. That's how some people explain this. But if they understood the tafsir of this surah, then they would know this is not the way to explain it. Because Allah tells us right after that that He diverted all of that from Yusuf. كذلك لنصرف عنه السوء والفحشاء. We showed him the evidence like that so that we would divert from him the villainy and indecencies. Yani, he never engaged in any of that. This clears him. And also, إِنَّهُ مِنْ عِبَادِنَا الْمُخْلَصِينَ. Surely he is amongst our dedicated slaves. This statement also clears Yusuf. But some people, they don't understand. If the ayah doesn't say, Yusuf was cleared of that and he did not do it, if it doesn't say it just that straightforwardly, some people will not understand. وَاسْتَبَقَ الْبَابِ. Then they raced for the door. That is, Joseph fled to escape, and she hurried to keep him in. Yani, he ran. He bolted for the door, she went after him. And according to those who interpret this wrongly, and they say, Wahamma biha means he wanted her. And according to them, he undid his pants and the likes of this and sat close to her like a man is with his wife. What's the meaning of Laula arra'a burhana rabbi? According to them, had it not been that he saw the evidence of his Lord. According to them, they say Yusuf saw the image of his father biting upon his fingernails. And meaning, like saying, Yusuf, no. This is the meaning of the image. Like, no, Yusuf, no. And that he said to Yusuf, don't do it. And according to them, Yusuf did not take heed immediately, but it took his father repeating to him, don't do it, for him to take heed. And then, according to them, that's when he ran away. That's all wrong interpretation. وَاسْتَبَقَ الْبَابِ. They raced for the door. Yusuf fled to escape, and she hurried to keep him in. وَقَدَّتْ قَمِيصَهُ مِن دُبُرٍ. And she grabbed his shirt and pulled him to her, and she split his shirt from behind. So she ran after him. She caught after him. She grabbed him. She was behind him. She grabbed his clothing, and it tore his clothing from behind. And now he's shirtless. وَأَلْفَ يَا سَيِّدَهَا لَدَى الْبَابِ. And also, وَاسْتَبَقَ الْبَابِ. They raced for the door. Here, the door. What did we see previously? وَغَلَّقَتِ الْأَبْوَابِ. She locked all the doors, plural. So wherever Yusuf was, there were several doors there. She went into that place and she locked all of those doors where he was. And then, what happened? وَاسْتَبَقَ الْبَابِ. They raced for the door. Which door was that? That's the door to get outside altogether. وَقَدَّتْ قَمِيصَهُ مِن دُبُرٍ. And she grabbed his shirt and pulled him to her and split his shirt from behind. وَأَلْفَ يَا سَيِّدَهَا لَدَى الْبَابِ. Then they encountered her husband at the door. Very fishy looking situation here. This strapping young man, beautiful, handsome, Yani, beautiful, handsome, so beautiful, extremely beautiful young man, shirtless though. And she is there, and she's in her, Allah knows what she is wearing. And they encountered her husband right there at the door. So then, She started. قالت ما جزاء من أراد بأهلك سوءا إلا أن يسجن أو عذاب أليم. She said, in exonerating herself and in implicating Yusuf, putting him in danger, she said, nothing shall be payment for anyone who wanted to commit villainy with your wife, but being imprisoned or an agonizing punishment. So, yeah, it's clear what she's doing here. She's playing victim here. قال هي راودتني عن نفسي. He said in exonerating himself, I did not want her despite herself. It was she who wanted me despite myself. And had she not tried to get Yusuf in trouble right there, he would not have said anything. He wouldn't have exposed her. وَشَهِدَ شَاهِدٌ مِّنْ أَهْلِهَا. Then a witness from her family testified. And it was said that this witness was just a baby in the cradle. And other than that was said. What did this witness say? And this wasn't a real witness. Rather, this was, if it was really a baby in the cradle, then the supernatural uh, event that is taking place makes this baby like a witness. So, what did this baby in the cradle say? إن كان قميصه قد من قبل فصدقت وهو من الكاذبين وإن كان قميصه قد من دبر فكذبت وهو من الصادقين. That baby said, according to the Tafsir, that it was a baby, if his shirt is torn from the front, then she told the truth, and he is one of the liars. But if his shirt is torn from behind, then she has lied, and he is one of the truthful. Now, we already know his shirt was torn from behind because it's mentioned in the story. But a lot of times, what you want to do if you tell a story is try to hold some details so yani not to, they use the word spoil, not to spoil something in the story ahead of time. I'm not going to say something is spoiled in the story here. Allah revealed it like this. Allah revealed to us before this sentence, this one. وَقَدَّتْ قَمِيصَهُ مِن دُبُرٍ. She grabbed his shirt and she split his shirt from behind. So we already know that his shirt is split from behind. We are the, yani, like the audience who's watching. So we are already knowing what's there. And the people involved in the story, they don't know. Yani, other than Yusuf and Zalikha, they know too. So then, فلما رأى قميصه قد من دبر قال إنه من كيدكن. So when Potiphar saw his shirt torn from behind, he said to his wife in defense of Joseph, surely what you said is from the schemes of you wealthy women. Inna kaydakunna azim. Surely the schemes of you women are extreme. Subhanallah wa bihamdi, especially the wealthy ones. Imam An-Nasafi says in his Tafsir at this spot that it's the wealthy women who are the most skilled at this type of trickery, but they don't have to be wealthy for that. And it was here that one of the wise ones, he said, I fear the devil. He said, I fear the women more than I fear the devil. Why? He said, because Allah said about the devil, Inna kayda shaytani kana da'ifa. Indeed, the scheme of the devil is weak. But he said about the women, Inna kayda kunna azim. Indeed, the scheme of the women is severe. So he said, therefore, I fear the women more than I fear the devil. That's how he put those two ayat together. Yusuf a'rid an hadha. Oh, Joseph, turn away from this. Do not mention it so that it does not spread. That's what Potiphar told Yusuf. وَاسْتَغْفِرِي لِذَنْبِكِ. And repent, woman, for your sin. إِنَّكِ كُنْتِ مِنَ الْخَاطِئِينَ. You have been among the intentionally sinful. However, the news spread. So what happened when the news spread? Tune in next week, insha'Allah ta'ala. Sadaqallahu al-azim. Let's stop there. Do you have a question I can answer for you?